New Year, Happy New Year. May we all have a mission now and then.
Did you know goldenrod makes an excellent tea?
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday, dear Aaron.
Me. You are a sad, strange little man, and you have my pity.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Tomic's veteran of the comic book industry for 30 years. I'm a writer, I'm an artist, and this sucks.
Tonight's episode, Poison Snow.
Don't start! We haven't left yet!
Woo! Let's go! Let's go. Hey everybody. You have tuned in for Aaron Live, the final episode of 2023. I can't even believe it. Another year gone by. And as soon as I started talking, the dog walked in and said, "Are you talking to me? Are you talking to me?" He's wandering around. He realizes I'm not talking to him. And now he's leaving. Kind of like the new year. It hangs around for a little bit. And then before you know it, it's gone again. You know, every time I do a show, I think, I don't feel prepared. And yet I just push the go live button anyway, because I don't care anymore. It used to be when I first started, I was scared to death. I was like, we had 20 people watching and I was like, what if I say something stupid? That's all I say now. And, now it's just kind of like, fire up that stream and let's go, baby. And not to say I haven't put in hours of work to prep for the show, because clearly, as you'll see as we progress through today's this evening's show, that I have put in hours of work. But I always feel like, I don't know. How do you feel? I mean, like before you go on stage or something for the big performance, shouldn't you feel a certain way? I remember when I used to play basketball 100 years ago, the big game, we'd be in the locker room, and get butterflies. Here, I just kind of sit on the chair, hit the button, and we'll just see what happens. So anyway, welcome one, welcome all. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm seriously considering redoing, and I probably should do a new intro for the new year, right? Because we've had this Aaron Live intro for at least a year, probably longer. And I put little additives here and there, some new touches, but I think maybe a complete reconstruction might be in order. The question is, will I have the time or motivation to actually do that? We'll only be able to find out by tuning in next week. So there's my little promo for next week, I guess. So I haven't streamed since before Christmas. I want to say, I think the Graybeards episode, the Wednesday before Christmas, is the last time I've done any streaming. My daughter's been home, my son and his daughter-in-law coming and going, for different holiday events. And so it's just kind of like, we'll just step back, we'll take a break and actually work on Kit Carter, which I've been doing quite a bit of. We'll share some of that later. So it's kind of a nice, almost like a vacation. When I used to work for DC back in the day, they got to a point near like the last couple of years where Warner Brothers would come in and just shut everything down for 2 weeks at Christmas time. And so the funny thing is, all the editors and stuff, they were like out of the office for 2 weeks, a 2 weeks Christmas vacation, while us freelancers that were still, on a monthly book or even whatever the project was, it didn't affect our deadlines. We still had to, so we were cranking stuff out over the holidays while the editorial staff was enjoying themselves, but not us. But this time, this kind of felt like shutdown mode for a week and a half. Even though I worked, I didn't do any of this. So it's kind of nice to get back in the saddle again, as they say. But as always, guys, I can't do the show without you. So let's see who's here. Let's see who's taking the time on their New Year's Eve to join me. Geek Avenger is here. He says, Squeaky and I are showing up for this, and I appreciate it. He wasn't the first one. I think Daniel Russell was the first one in, but in true StreamYard YouTube fashion, whoever's the first one to post, that post for some reason drops out after a period of time. So if you're here too early, your post doesn't get mentioned, but I remember it. I saw it, Daniel. And Daniel Russell was the first. And of course, for being the first, you get absolutely nothing. So we appreciate, though, your participation in the show. Prater 7 is here. H is for heretic. He says, this is a dimension of imagination, an area we call the Lopresti zone. Repairman Jack is here, says, wishing us a happy New Year's. Thank you so much for that. Solitary Rain is here. Brian Norton, all the way from Japan, is wishing everybody a happy New Year. I would imagine it's New Year's Day there right now. Toshiro is here. Sounds like he's from Japan, but probably isn't. He says 2023 was the year of the graybeards. Well, 2024 is really... I trimmed my beard. Do you notice that? Will be the year of the graybeards. Go the Geekies, he says, go Steelers. Hoping that Pittsburgh pulls out a win today, undoubtedly. I haven't been watching, so I don't know. Geek Avenger says, I politely ask folks not to stream over Aaron. I appreciate that. How many people are really going to stream on New Year's Eve? Malin might. He's the kind of edgy guy that might do that, but he probably wouldn't do it till much later at night. There's Daniel Russell. Lobo Vicious is here. LFG Aaron Lopretzel. I'm going to take a minute to figure out what that means. Marcus Killigrew is here. Purveyor of all things pop culture knowledge. Oh, I see. He says, Feliz Año Nuevo Comicsgate. Happy New Year, Comicsgate. This is kind of a rough translation. I'm guessing that's what that says. I haven't done Spanish since 7th grade. So Bill Maxwell is here. Mark Pengrin. Happy New Year to Aaron and Shelley. God bless. And here's to a happy and healthy 2024. We're all hoping that. Thank you, Mark. And the same to you. And let's see. Kel Razor's here. Joanna A. How about that? Thanks for joining us, Joanna A. Fox Mulder, of course, made it in. Ruby Jade 90 is here. Goody Two Shoes. Brian Suddenly Old. Paul Brillard, our resident engineer, has made the trip in. Thanks for joining us, Paul. Let's see. Jeff Potts is here. So much puppet hate. You only find puppet hate here. You see, if you look over this shoulder, back right there, see that green fuzzy thing by that comic book box? That is a puppet. Or what's left of one. Geek Avenger says, we're always lucky when Shelley can make it. But she's not making it today. I've been battling a migraine the last couple of days, so she's unable to come on today, but sends her best. Paul Brillard says, is that a JC Baby New Year? Yes, it is. It wasn't from one of the Leyendecker Saturday Evening Post covers. It was actually an ad, I believe. Let's see. AJ, or is it Aja? AJA. Happy New Year's, Mr. and Mrs. Erlo. Oh, I like that. Erlo. Well, that's very cool. Lieutenant Hughes is here. Jeff Potts says, no Shelley, no peace. When is there ever peace in the chat? My daughter was going to come on and guest host, but she's like, those guys are too mean to me. And I went, oh, come on. It's just the chat. I have the nicest chat on the internet. So she's not going to join us. It's just going to be me. Let's see. Helder 6480 is here. Randy Howell all the way from Canada. Coolikoten. Cool. Okay, you guys tell me. Coolikoten. That's close enough, I think. Thanks for joining us. There's some names in here I don't recognize. If you guys are new, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps the channel grow and helps me to provide you with more ridiculous content like you're about to be experienced right now. Eric Wart is here. Lieutenant Hughes for $1.99. Happy New Year. For FYI, Wraith of God 1 and 2 landed on my top 5. Thank you. I was hoping for the top 2, but I'll take the top 5. Thank you, Lieutenant Hughes. Appreciate it very much. Alpha Suma, $50. Judas Priest, thank you so much for that. That is so nice. I really appreciate that. No fear, you're awesome, but always keep working on it. But you're awesome. But you need lots of improvement, but you're awesome. But keep working, buddy. I hear you. I hear you. Thank you, though, for the $50. Appreciate it very much. Mike TV Dub, we're watching your every move, Lopez. Wait, is there something hanging from your nose? Probably old gray hairs. Hey, Zaid Comics is here, also known as Phil Diaz, also known as Merv the Astro Chimp. Thanks for joining us, Phil. I was going to do a show with Phil, but I couldn't do it because I had plans. For some reason, I had plans with my daughter or something. I can't remember, but it was kind of a last minute thing. And I was like, oh, I wanted to do that. Andy Smith also invited me on his show to talk about CGC and the controversy with graded comics and stuff next week. And I couldn't do that either because it's right before Graybeards, and I got to take my daughter to the airport and for her trip back to school. And so Graybeards is probably going to start at 2 instead of 1. And I can't go on Andy's. So I'm just, scheduling nightmare, but I missed a couple of, would have been fun shows to be on and wasn't able to do it, or I'm not going to be able to do it for Andy either. So, Geek Avenger is trying to make me feel better. Says, it's all right, Aaron. I'm an amateur no talent hack, but I anticipate becoming a professional no talent hack in the near future. Well, then you can join my ranks, the professional no talent hack. Henry Thrun is here. Is it Thrun? Thrun. Henry Thrun. He keeps wanting me to make him a mod, and I keep forgetting to do it because I have to go on YouTube. I can't do it on streaming. I have to go through the YouTube. And then I'm like managing 2 screens at one time, and it's just that's a real pain in the old butt. But I'm going to try it, Henry, because I know that it's an important thing to you. So let's see here if I can pull it off. But see, then it's like I bring it up, and then I got to find you on here. And then I have like the worst time trying to find, because this chat in YouTube is not in the same place as the StreamYard chat is. Hey, there he is. He says he's driving to Chipotle right now. There. I just made Henry Thrun, as he's driving to Chipotle, is now a mod. So how about that? And don't anybody else ask me today because that's too much effort. Let's see here. Tomos Ivanko is here. Eric Boyd is here, of course. Henry said he streamed a Garbage Man review yesterday. I hope it was good. But check out Henry. I don't know. Is the channel under your name? Put a link in there. Drop a link in there. Now that you're a mod, you can do that. Alpha Suma, make the time. Your awesomeness knows no bounds. Thank you, Alpha. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Geek of Interest says that Squeaky and him made Canadian bacon and pineapple pizza from scratch. I respect that. My daughter and I were like, I don't know, it was midnight a couple nights ago. And we were, oh my gosh, we went in to visit my mom. And when I say that, I mean, she in her room. We don't want her in there all by herself all the time. So we go in and visit. And she was watching one of those Hallmark romance movies. Oh my gosh, it was the worst movie I've ever seen. But we watched it. After I was like, man, I could really go for some pizza. But it was like 12 o'clock at night, 12:30. And so we had some sourdough bread. So I took like a couple slices of bread. I made some homemade pizza sauce because we didn't have any like spaghetti sauce laying around. So I made some. And then I made like little bread pizza things in the oven. And they were fantastic. And that's the moral of that story. Let's see here. Yeah, let's see. Scott Ruplin's here. Hello, my friend. Hello, Scott. Appreciate it. Jeff Potts is taking a break from writing and editing. I'm constantly taking a break from writing and editing, and probably shouldn't be breaking as much from it as I am. Happy New Year, Aaron, says Rudolph Van Richten. Thank you for joining us. Appreciate it very much. There's a lot of new names to me here, and I appreciate you guys making your voices heard in the chat, but also showing up just to watch. I really appreciate it. How to Draw Comics by Dan Lawless. Happy New Year, my friends. So he's referring to the chat, not to me. He doesn't. And see, Dan, if you would actually finish that Kit Carter, cleaning up that Kit Carter so I can use it, I might slide you a few bucks, but you got to finish it first. So there you go. I'm calling you out on the new year. Let's see who else is here. Mike McMahon is here. Happy New Year, Aaron and Shelley. Thank you so much. Fat Samurai is here. Anthony. All right. This is Italian, so I should be able to get this. Ciapo. Is that Ciapo or Chiapo? Cacciapo? Anthony Cacciapo. That's a tough one, man. But I appreciate and if it's not Italian, then I'm really embarrassed, but it sure looks Italian. Let's see here. Joseph Pantalone is here, wishing everybody a happy new year, including us. Thank you. Normie Nerd. Let's see who we forgetting. Mike TV Dub. Did I say Mike TV Dub? Oh, you can count on the EVS to stream over you anytime now. That's his MO. That's what Mike TV Dub. It could happen, but that's why I'm great. I'm always great in reruns. Gary Bruce is here. Hello, ambulatory Aaron Lopresti. It's like Jazzy John or Smiling Sam. Ambulatory Aaron. How about that? Ruby Jade 90 for 10. Thank you, Ruby. Appreciate that so much. Loved Wraith 2. Great character development for Esther. Great intro to Kit, and I really love the Garbage Man story. Thank you so much. I was thinking the other day about, Wraith of God, and it's like how like Esther is sort of everybody's favorite character. And I'm like, that's because she gets all the character stuff, because I have to be very careful about how much I reveal about the Wraith too soon. So we can't really get into his head like we can get into Esther's head. So Esther has kind of been sort of the focal point of these first two issues, which is kind of interesting. But in Fear Hollow, Wraith of God 3 Fear Hollow, which will be launching June, July, depending on how quickly Kit Carter gets back from the printer. It's going to be we're going to reveal more about the Wraith and his origins and stuff. And so that's going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to that. Let's see here. Grey Wolf Graphics is here. Ronan is here. Angela Curry made it in. And let's see here. Ignite is here. Thanks for joining us. And let's see here. Ben Talatson. Happy New Year, Aaron and Shelley. I hope 2024 is an amazing new year for you both. P.S. I loved Blood Hunters. Thank you so much. If you're one of the people in the chat that has not read Blood Hunters or has not even read Wraith of God #1, Blood Hunters, of course, is Wraith of God #2, they are available. Just contact me. Eventually, they're going to get up on my website. I know I keep threatening that, but they are available. So if you contact me, you can get those comics. Kelraiser says Wraith of God is #1, period. Thank you very much. Lieutenant Hughes for $1.99 clarification. #1 and 2 tagged you on X. Okay, so of the top 5, I am #1 and 2. I'm feeling better now. Thank you, Lieutenant, and thank you for the $2. Okay, I'll get on Twitter and check that out. Let's see. What else we got here? Talking about sushi. Quote the Raven. Lewis Bright Raven is here. Says howdy. Iodine 74. Thanks for joining us. Kevin Thomas is here. Wizard Sleeves. Aaron, love you, bud, and hope you and yours had a great Christmas. Thank you. We did. I hope the same for you and a great New Year. Not just to you, Wizard Sleeves, but to everybody. Gary Martin doesn't understand Wizard Sleeves. I keep trying to explain it to him, and he just doesn't get it. Christopher Giuliano is here, wishing everybody a happy New Year. Thank you so much. A guy in his room is here. Why no Shelley? He says. Migraine. So can't make it today. Angela Curry's got a peppermint frosty. Ryo Stew is here. And let's see here. Who am I forgetting anybody? Grifter's here. How about Grifter? How about that? Wizard Sleeve says, Aaron, thank you for the updates on campaign. Hope I can hold on. Getting buzzed. It's not midnight. We're not even close to midnight yet. I don't even know what that means. Okay, Daniel Russell, here we go. Top CG books of 2023. Wraith of God, Blood Hunters, King Cryptid, and 3 is CF2. Is that, what is CF2? I don't know, man. My mind is not sharp like it used to be. I was so brilliant in college, and now I'm just an idiot. Tim F is here, and Pascali369 is here. All right, guys, that's Jolly Green. There's Jolly Green as well. Waylon Todd, don't want to miss him either. So again, you guys, please hit the like and subscribe. Appreciate it if you would, so we can just have an enormous channel/show for 2024. But speaking of getting enormous, I got to go on a diet. Oh my gosh, I've been porking out over the holidays. It's just embarrassing. And why should we break tradition now?
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
I got a piece of cheese so I can feel better about myself. Now, this is, some of you may have heard of this. This is Tillamook cheese. This is now it's a national brand, but it's a cheese factory in Tillamook, Oregon. Tillamook being an Indian name, it must certainly be an Indian name. I don't know what it means, but it's a almost to the coast town of Tillamook, Oregon, and they have this huge cheese factory there. In fact, it's kind of like the Disneyland of cheese factories. This is just straight up medium cheddar. Good stuff. So while I'm doing what you should never do, which is eat on stream, let's look at the last Frazetta image of the year. That was actually, as it said in the video, from Creepy Magazine, #1, 1964. I want to say that was a 4-page story, I think. And then I think in Creepy #2, Frazetta did like a 2-page story. Did them for that magazine. So Creepy #1 and Creepy #2 are not exactly the cheapest books in the world, but I guess if you got a beat up copy, it wouldn't be very bad. But I highly recommend those. Nice ink wash, just amazing Frazetta work. And those pages have been reproduced a lot, and you can find them on the internet if you're not someone that wants to go out and buy a copy of Creepy #1 to read it. But it's awesomely good stuff. So, and I miss that sort of black and white magazine. I know our good friend Paul Taylor, if he was here, would be saying he doesn't read black and white comics, got to have color. But that period in the 70s, man, when Savage Tales, Savage sort of Conan, they were doing all like Tales of the Zombie, Monsters Unleashed. They had like a kung fu comic, then Warren, that was just Marvel. The whole Rampaging Hulk, they did that. Howard the Duck had a black and white magazine. And then you had the Warren magazines, Creepy Eerie, Vampirella. Some of my favorite stuff, because the artwork in there was fantastic. And to me, being an artist, and maybe just, if you're just a reader or a consumer of comics, you might feel differently. But for me, being able to see the black and white work without color over the top, distracting from the art, I loved it. I loved it. Even as a kid, loved it. And I always felt like I was, as a kid, I was getting away with something, like, because Warren magazines were sort of kind of adult, there might be a little, like in Vampirella, there might be a little nudity here and there or something, not like heavy metal or anything like that, but it was, and the themes of the stories were more adult. So I always kind of felt like I was getting away with something when I was reading those. I'm sure if my mom saw, she would have, what are you reading? No, my mom was really good, very encouraging and very tolerant of my strange tastes, but all for the love of art and my growth as an artist. So she was very supportive and still is. So, anyway, Louis Ravens says, this is sad. I have no treats, just my New Jersey. Okay, no, wait a minute. We have no treats, just my New Year's sub, pastrami, turkey, chicken, salami, ham, Munster cheese, pepper jack cheese, lettuce, and jalapeno pepper on wheat. That is a treat, Louis. Jeez. You know what we did for my daughter's birthday? Now, she wasn't here for her birthday, but so we did like a birthday day later over just before Christmas. And we went through all these different things about what we were going to, what did she want for lunch? Because my son and his wife were going to be here to help celebrate, but they weren't going to be there into the evening. So we kind of wanted to do a lunch thing. And so we went back and forth on different things. And she's become a big fan of Reuben sandwiches. And we're both now these connoisseurs of the best Reuben sandwiches. So anytime we go to a restaurant and there's a Reuben sandwich, we get it to try it out and see where it ranks, right? So we made Reuben sandwiches. But I don't know if this is just Joe Biden's America or what, but we could not find any corned beef. I went to 3 different stores that had like delis in them, and nobody had corned beef. And they're like, oh, I think it's seasonal now. We don't corn. And I'm just like, what? Since when is corned beef seasonal? And if it was seasonal, wouldn't you be wanting it during the holidays? Isn't that when you would have corned beef? Because if you're having a legit Reuben sandwich, you have corned beef. You don't have pastrami. So, but we had to go pastrami. And there's people that will serve Reubens with pastrami, which is okay. But it's not the purest Reuben. Purest Reuben is corned beef, but we couldn't find it anywhere. So we ended up having using pastrami, and it turned out good. They were great, but I was a little ticked off about the whole corned beef thing. And so now I don't know, what does that mean? Is this part of this conspiracy to get rid of all the cows so that we don't have corned beef? Is that the start of it? Pretty soon, no, we can't have no pastrami either. Oh, don't have spiced beef. Oh, no roast beef sandwiches. Is that what they're doing to us? I don't know. Keep your eyes open. Geeky says, do you know Frazetta's granddaughter is working on Vampirella? When you say she's working on Vampirella, do you mean she's publishing it, right? Yeah, Sarah Frazetta. Strangely has not called me to contribute anything to these Frazetta books. It makes me sad, but not that I'm not busy, because I certainly am, but you squeeze a little bit of time in there to do a little Frazetta thing. I certainly would. Let's see here. Danky Frankie. There's Danky Frankie. He says, 8 got used to black and white reading manga and 70s Marvel. Shout out to Val Maychick. I think you mean Val Mayrick, don't you? Val used to live in the Portland area. He used to hang with Val, and but now he's in Texas, and he's like painting like really sort of cool dinosaur wildlife paintings. They're sort of like a fine arts thing, but still has that dinosaur element. I guess you wouldn't say dinosaurs are fantasy, but certainly not would be your typical Western type paintings. But he shows them on Facebook every once in a while. Let's see here. Alpha Suma, $20. Thank you again. My gosh, that was on top of the $50. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Kerry Gold imported Irish Dubliner cheese. Okay, I know where I could probably get some of that. I've never heard of it before, but I know we have I don't know, do you guys have Nature's or New Seasons, excuse me. They're like a wholesome grocery store. They have a great meat counter, no corned beef, by the way, but they have a great little cheese counter area where they got all kinds of cheese. And so Kerrygold imported Irish Dubliner cheese. Compared to the majority of dairy cows in the United States, Kerrygold cows are hormone and pesticide free. Kerrygold, where the green of Ireland meets the gold of pure dairy. That is a paid advertisement, ladies and gentlemen, for Kerrygold cheese. I've never even heard of that, but now I'm going to seek it out. Where the green of Ireland meets the gold of Pierre Derry. Oh my goodness. That sounds good. Kerry Gold. I gotta remember that. Kerry Gold. Philip Owens says, my first YouTube video was on black and white comics and what changed my view on comics. That sounds very interesting. Geek Easy says, I think some of the stuff from Creepy Comics black and white is incredible. It is indeed, because a lot of them did ink wash, or they would go the extra mile and put in more detail into the line work. Because when you're doing color comics, you're not everybody, obviously, but there's more of an inclination to leave it a little bit more open and, and less line work and let the colorist fill it in, because quite frankly, the colorist is going to fill it in regardless. So, but when you're doing black and white books, you kind of got to go hog wild, because that black and white, the way you either ink wash it or do the line work, kind of creates the tonal values in the color that isn't really there. So they're really more artistic expressions than necessarily than a regular comic might be. Wizard Sleeve says, your appreciation of art and story intrigued me to stay tuned in, brother. Thank you. I do have a great appreciation for art and story. Giga's not a big fan of bread they use for Rubens. You usually see two things, either dark rye or marbled rye, which is a dark and white combination of rye bread. Also, I'm a big fan of dill rye. I wouldn't necessarily use it on a Reuben sandwich, but I do use it on everything else, sandwich-wise. Obviously not peanut butter and jelly, that'd be gross. But, any sort of meat and cheese sandwich, I would use dill rye. Marcus Kilder says, you can only get a great Reuben sandwich in New York. That's probably true. Now, I've been to Cat's Deli, but I had pastrami and Swiss with mustard. And they stacked that sucker that high. I mean, that's next level, dude. And they give you like this huge dill pickle, and it's just like, yeah, I'm with you, man. I used to when I used to go to New York a lot, I would always frequent delis or something that I could, get a big old pastrami sandwich. I didn't really get into Reuben's until later, after I was like really not making a lot of trips to New York. So I'm trying to remember if I've actually had a Reuben in New York. I'm sure I have. But I've said this before on the show. My favorite Reuben, I actually found here in Portland, a place called the Buffalo Gap down on John's Landing. And I haven't had one there in probably 10 years now, but they had the best Reubens that I've ever had any place. And and I've had them, not everywhere, but, I've had them in the big places you'd think to have them. And like Chicago, I'm sure I've had one in New York, although I just can't remember off the top of my head. Hey, let's see here. Guys making fun of New York. That's fine. I don't care. I don't live there, so you can make fun of them all you want. Okay, now Wayland Todd says, we have loads of corned beef cans from USA here. Okay, I'm not talking about a canned, corned beef hash or something. I'm talking about getting like a big piece of corned beef and having it sliced, at the deli, thin sliced for sandwich. I'm not talking about canned corned beef. So, Geek Avengers, jeez. I'm sorry. I have no words, clearly. You mean the guy that did the black and white Marvel Frankenstein? Yeah, that's Val Merrick did that. Kerry Gold Butter is great. Kerry Gold Butter. Oh, Kerry Gold Butter is great, says Marcus Killigan. See, look, everybody's like on Kerry Gold. I've never even heard of this. Is this like an East Coast brand? It must be. I have never seen this. I will look for it now, though. Let's see. I'm starting to get hungry. I prefer Lurpak over Kerry Gold. Everybody's talking about food now. Wizard Sleeves, he's mad because now he's hungry. There's some custom of eating corned beef and black-eyed peas. I've never heard of that, but if you want corned beef, at least around here, you're not going to find it for New Year's. Very disappointing. Wizard Sleeves wants to know how the campaign is going. That's a good thing. Maybe I should bring it up. I do have a campaign, you guys, and I usually don't do a very good job of promoting my stuff on my own show. I have so many like little, bits to do on the show that I get carried away and I forget to promote it. But we can take a look at it real quick because it's probably a smart thing to do when you have a captive audience. Is like, it's like Saturday morning cartoons. You want to make sure that you promote the Transformer toys. All right, let's take a look at this real quick. I have this thing that we like to call Kit Carter Planet Doom. Let me try that again. I have this thing called Kit Carter Planet Doom. Now, listen to this exciting video. I assume you guys can hear this, right? It was muted, seriously? Doggone it. Why do I have... Oh, no, someone says... There it is. Yes, I can hear it. So at least Louis Bright Raven can hear it. Okay. Oh, my wife smells like she just heated up some of that chicken pot pie. Or pardon me, chicken and dumplings. Oh, it smells good. This was not intended to be a foodie show, but it apparently is becoming one. All right. So anyway, what's the story on Kit Carter? Kit Carter is a 64-page graphic novel, 8.5 by 11 inches. So it's larger than you would find as a regular comic book, but like in the old 80s style Marvel graphic novels, right? I know a lot of you have heard the sales pitch, but here it comes again. We are just 9 backers away from 1,000 backers. This is an interesting campaign because it shot off like a rocket, pardon the expression, set a new record for me for opening 24 hours. But then it kind of fell off a little bit. And this is seriously lagging behind what I did on Wraith of God. So it just leads me to believe that Wraith of God is much more popular and much more interesting to a larger audience than Kit Carter is. But gosh darn it, this is going to be fun and good. So if you haven't backed it, please consider doing that. You have the option of a hardcover, which comes signed and numbered. It's a limited edition. So that number will be determined based on orders. And it also has a tipped in art gallery, Kit Carter art gallery in it that the paperback won't have, or the soft cover. This is the soft cover by Chris Stevens. When I say by Chris Stevens, I mean the cover itself is by Chris Stevens. The insides is the same as the hardcover by me without the gallery in it. But in that, here's a few pages. That's our good friend Schmagma. And there's a double page spread with Kit and Schmag. And that's colored by our own Kelsey Shannon, of course. This will be in the gallery in the hardcover, not in the soft cover. This is by Gary Martin. I just got the original. Ooh, I got to pay him. He sent me the original arc and I haven't paid him yet. So I got to get him that out. But it's colored by Kelsey. It's a Frazetta homage, and it's just a great, great piece. This piece will be in the gallery as well in the hardcover if Kelsey ever finishes coloring it, that is. You got t-shirts. You can get a Kit Carter t-shirt, Kit Carter and Merv, actually. You can get a Kit Carter color sketchbook, 8.5 by 11. So it'll be the same size as the books. They'll fit nicely on your shelf, your bookshelf, or in your magazine comic book box, because it will fit in there as well. So they all fit together in a nice little combo. And what you should put on your wall next to your bookcase that has the Kit Carter material in it is this giant 14 by 36 insert style movie poster of Kit Carter Galactic Ranger in Planet Doom. This, of course, is the rough watercolor sketch. It's not the finished painting. Very excited to get going on this painting, which I will be actually starting here, the finished painting, in a couple weeks, probably sometime this month. And you can get a Kit Carter laser etched shot glass. Now, as you may know from our previous campaigns, we have the Garbage Man shot glass, laser etched, and also the Wraith of God shot glass. So Kit Carter shot glass will join the collection of shot glasses. We're hitting stretch goals like crazy. Ooh, that Lord Menace trading card is unlocked, and I should hit that. And we're almost to a Mr. Midnight trading card, both by me. The first two are by David Williams. As soon as I get those colored, I'll throw them up here on the site here. If we get to 125, we got a big old sticker for the front for the front of your comic book box. That'll be Empire Comics. It won't just be the logo. It'll have like little characters. It'll be brand new art that I'll be doing for that. And then if we get to 150, we're going to put a dust jacket on the hardcover. You can also order Garbage Man trade paperback, Power Cube trade paperbacks. I was able to secure a large stash of both of those, so I think we're covered for this campaign anyway. If you have not read Wraith of God, which is kind of Empire Comics' flagship title, you can get the second printing with a new cover. You have two cover options. This is, when I say new cover, I mean the original printing, the first printing had different covers. This is an exclusive cover specifically for the second printing. So you can get that. And if you missed Blood Hunters, which was Wraith of God 2, which just shipped a couple weeks ago, everybody should have their copies by now. I know there's a few people out of the country that haven't received their books yet because it takes much longer to get there, but everybody in the States should have their book by now, and most of my Canadian and European friends should have it as well. I know people in New Zealand got their books. So anyway, if you did not order these, all these covers are still available while supplies last, so you can still order these books. There's a couple pieces of original artwork left from the Kit Carter backup story that appears in Wraith of God Blood Hunters. I believe it's this one, and I think the Merv page and this last page are the two that are still available. Yeah, and there's perks for, you can get a 3-pack. You know, that includes the the sketchbook and the hardcover and the soft cover. Different perks on here. You can go through there and find different things. But anyway, you'll find the link in the description of this video. Please back early and often. I think this is going to be I know it's going to be a real fun project, and I think you'll really enjoy it. So there you go. That's your public service announcement and your advertising for today's show. Fox Mulder for $25. Thank you so much, Fox. Really appreciate that. The Kit Carter pages you've been sharing online look genuinely incredible. I don't think it's overstating it to say it's some of your best work, and that's saying something. Thank you very much. Being this is a larger format graphic novel, I really want these pages to sing. And we've got Matt Ryan inking, and he's spectacular. So I really think these will look good. In fact, we'll share some of them here in a little bit. Thank you for that $25, Fox. I really appreciate that. Okay. Geek is making the connection between Kit Carter is synonymous with the word perks, as in perky. I think he's referring to something. Not sure what. That's exactly, Sean, what you need to do is ask your mom for $100. You can get the entire everything. Although I think everything is $200. It is an award-winning art cover. At least of course, he's referring to Blood Hunters is an award-winning cover. So Aldion got all of his copies. Very pleased. Thank you, Aldion, for ordering everything. I really appreciate that. All you guys. I know everybody in the chat probably supported with the exception of maybe a few people that are just now hearing about it. Everybody supported it, and I appreciate it very much. You guys are Awesome. Alpha Suma for another 20. Holy crap. Thank you so much. Kit Carter shot glasses are compatible with all your favorite adult beverages. It is true. You can drink anything out of them. So you don't want to miss out on that. Jim Alaska says we need an uncensored perky edition of Kit Carter. You guys. Okay, so let's get this show on the road. Really, we've done nothing but look at Frazetta and just chat. But I think it's time to take a look at a little bit of artwork. It's jazzy, baby. Albert Dorn, you may be saying, who the heck is that? Well, I'm gonna save the reveal to the last image, but Albert Dorn was an illustrator, of course, during the golden age of illustration. In fact, he died like in 1960, I think. He wasn't that old. I think he was only either in his late 50s or early 60s. So I hope that's not a forebodance to my future, as I'm very close to 60 right now. So we don't want to drop dead quite yet. At least not until I finish. What the heck am I doing? I'm hitting all the wrong buttons here. That's not even right. Look at that. Look at that note I got from Andy. We'll get to that in a minute. What am I trying to do? There it is. Okay. One thing I loved about Albert Dorn was he did magazine covers and stuff during the golden age, of course, of illustration, 40s and 50s. I guess the golden age would be considered the 30s, 40s, and 50s. I don't know. I can tell you when the golden age of comics was, but not so much illustration, how they wrangle that. But let's see here. Old Dirty Fatty, Dorn was great. And those eyebrows, oh my gosh, they're like caterpillars. Pasquale says, I'm 63. Will you still need me when I'm 64? Absolutely. Kevin Thomas says, Aaron will be the new Art to Bear. Yeah, I'm catching up with Art. But anyways, you can see the character, and I love his faces, especially he did serious, straight stuff like on magazine covers and things like that. But when he illustrated stories, they tended to be a little bit more cartoonish. And I mean that in a good way, animated, maybe exaggerated, sort of Norman Rockwell pen and ink type drawings. I just love the expression and the body language on these characters. So this is pen and ink and watercolor here. And this is for the interior. I mean, a lot of times, those of you who aren't old like me, there was a period of time where magazine illustration was the thing. And you'd buy these magazines and there would be stories in there, maybe excerpts from novels. I'm sorry, my dog's going nuts. And they would have illustrators illustrate these stories, maybe just a couple of spot illustrations, for the story that was in the magazine. But that was like legit work that everybody got, illustrators got, and it paid really well. And that stuff is just long gone, but man, it was so cool back. Look at this. For crying out loud, if I could hit the right button, it's New Year's Eve, man. And I'm like, I haven't even had a drink. Okay. So here's this poor mom, this birthday party in the background. Don't you love that? The focus is on her, but you've got all this action going on right behind her. Pin the tail on the donkey there. I don't know what the world that dad is doing over on the right-hand side with that cup. Like he's catching the steam out of the teapot. I don't know. But one thing about Dorn's stuff was he did some of the busiest, most complex compositions, and he just was masterful at them. I'm going to say this is, God, that looks like watercolor. I bet it's oils though. See, this stuff when he was doing this a little bit more straight, it wasn't as fun. I mean, I still think they're brilliant illustrations, but when he's getting a little cartoony, like we saw in that Western one, that's the stuff of his that I really, really enjoy. This guy's kind of interesting looking though. The kids are pretty much, straightforward kids, but this guy's kind of a little odd looking. But this was more straightforward, realistic illustration. This guy's great. Absolutely love this piece right here. Now, the interesting thing about Dorn was self-taught. He was not an educated artist, which surprised me to find this out. I mean, you just look at the quality of this artwork, and it's just freaking awesome. But yeah, he was self-taught, which I would not have expected from somebody from that period of time. Most of those guys ended up getting some sort of training. So he was born in the slums of New York's Lower East Side. This is interesting too. Despite childhood afflictions with tuberculosis and also had heart trouble, grew up in poverty, but his dream was to become an artist. And after finishing 7th grade, Dorn's formal education came to a halt. So he went through 7th grade and that was it. He had to quit to work to support his mother and 2 sisters and younger brother. At age 13, he managed newsstands in New York. At 14, became an office boy with a movie chain. At 15, he was a salesman for another movie chain. At 16, he was married. How about that? Look at this. At 16, Dorn was married and began to worry that his career he had planned in art was slipping away. At 16, man, talk about a different generation. The guy's married at 16 and worried that he's losing his chance at a career at 16. 16-year-olds don't even think about careers now. So he took a job without pay in an artist studio as a general handyman, working from 9 to 5, and simultaneously took another job as a shipping clerk, working from midnight to 9 in the morning. Did he ever sleep? Now, this is interesting. When he became 17, when he turned 17, for a short period of time, despite these health problems he grew up with, tuberculosis and heart trouble, right? He became a boxer and was 10-0 in his first 10 fights, lost his 11th fight, got KO'd. And that was when he said he was done boxing and then went back into pursuing art. He began working for advertising accounts, and his art began to appear in national magazines such as Life, Collier's, Saturday Evening Post, Look, and Liberty. At age 22, he was earning $500 a week, which I will tell you, in the 30s, that was some serious bank. Now, through the 30s and 40s, he became the highest paid and most sought-after artist in the country. He made a series of colorful advertisements for the Rudolph Wurlitzer Company in the Whirlwind National Advertising Campaign from 1946 to 48. Wow. I'm sorry, he died in 65, not 1960. But he was not that old. But imagine if he had tuberculosis in his youth and he had heart trouble, was born with heart trouble, that probably played in to his passing away at an early age. Wow. Now this is another piece that I really like, and this is more, again, that sort of exaggerated animation kind of style. Look at the postures. This guy right here, that is not an easy angle to draw from. Look at these rear side views on these guys' faces. That is not easy. This is just a great expression of character in these guys right here. It's very Rockwell-esque, except more cartoonish, maybe. I I love how you got this guy sick in bed and these guys surrounding him. We don't even see the guy that's sick in bed because we see these guys that are looking at him. It's just a great illustration, man. Love that. This is definitely watercolor. And again, this is more interior magazine illustration as opposed to covers. He did covers. Here's a black and white piece. So those of you that can't stand not having color, you'll have to suffer through this. Let's pull. This is Collier's magazine illustration. And again, this is probably from, an illustrated story or a story that he did this illustration for. Look at these characters and look at the detail, in the background. This guy's like some country store, general store, and all the stuff that's in there. And it's just the thought that goes into, producing that. But he would have been a great comic book artist, don't you think? Just because this is black and white line work. These aren't paintings. Check this out. This is a prelim for one of these very busy multiple character pieces that he did so well. Just look at this guy getting carried off, or they're in a fight or whatever. Look at the body language in these people and the facial expressions. These people are leaning into all this to see what's going on. Look at this guy in the back row, dude, but the expression on his face. And this guy looking over the top. Look at these faces. The dog, biting the guy's pant leg. This is just freaking awesome. Now, granted, these guys got paid really well to do illustrations like this, and I'm sure he had a little bit of time to do it, but still, there's not a crappy drawing in there. It's like, and if you're still all scratching your head going, who's Albert Dorn? Maybe this will refresh your memory. Because if you're a comic book fan, you know who Albert Dorn is because he was on the back of all of these comic books in the 60s. He's looking for people who like to draw, the famous artist schools. So what they say is that once he passed away in 65, no one really took the reins of leaderships of these schools, and it just kind of fell apart pretty quickly after he passed. But if you buy old comic books, you'll have seen these ads on the back. And this was my first, I had no idea when I was a kid. I had no idea who this dude was. Now, of course, I have great respect for him because his stuff is so freaking awesome. Aaron, do you and Kelsey fight about best colorist, meaning fight between me and him about who's the best, or just in general who's the best? Fat Samurai says Malin is jealous of those eyebrows. I actually think, I don't know. I'm a better colorist than you might think. Kelsey's really good. I don't have the patience to color a book. I'm very slow. Just the process in which I use is not very efficient. I'm still using Photoshop. I don't even think anybody uses Photoshop anymore, but that's what I learned on. And I think there's better ways to color comics. But I'm not the type of guy to learn new things. This newfangled programming. So, anywho, yes, between you and him, we would argue, but he's probably better than me. Maybe. It's hard for me to admit that. It's hard for me to admit it. But if you watch Graybeard Stew, which you should, every Wednesday at 1:00 Pacific time, Kelsey lays down color faster than David's usually never gets past the pencil stage. I never get past the ink stage, and Kelsey's already got stuff colored and finished. It's just amazing how fast he is. And he's willing to kind of like experiment and do things where I'm like kind of cowardly. And that's how you learn and grow and become really interesting, is by having the courage to do that. And he just goes for it, and I'm a coward. Okay. Faux modesty. Now I have an opinion of where my artwork is, but it's not really that high. But I do think I'm still getting better, which always makes me feel good that I've got a chance to get to a certain level that I would like to, achieve before retirement, whatever that means. Killraiser says Dorn always thought he looked like Abe Vigoda from Barney Miller. He does, doesn't he? We used color to the pictures with a mixture of our own blood, and we loved it. Yep, that's the good old days for sure. Anyway, speaking of the good old days, let's look at some old stuff I have. And as I like to point out, I actually own both of those comic books. Okay, let's take a look at some old comics, shall we? Why not? It's New Year's Eve. What else would you rather be doing on a New Year's Eve than looking at my old comic book collection? So now I'm going to switch the camera over, which I did prematurely before. But look at this. Let's take a look at this before we get into the... we'll get to this letter in a minute. So I got my Cordrath books. Focus. Thank you. So I got the Bud Root cover, colored by our own Dan Lawless. Couldn't pass that up. And I got the regular Cordrath, The Reckoning cover, also colored by our own Dan Lawless. And I got this game thing. I don't know. I'm not a gamer. So I actually thought this was a really good idea that Andy and Dennis did, was make this kind of game module, I guess they call it. But I've never played these like Dungeons and Dragons type things, so I have no clue. But I think it is a great idea to tie it in, because it certainly fits the subject matter. Now, Andy, of course, you know how Andy is. He copies me, and that's fine, because Shelley and I got the idea to put a thank you letter in with our books from Graham Nolan. And so if we can steal from Graham, Andy can certainly steal from me. So he says, thank you so much. Dennis and I are incredibly grateful for your immense support of Cordrath, The Reckoning. We wanted to take a moment to express our heartfelt appreciation for your contribution to this project. It was a leap of faith for me because it's a departure from my usual superhero work, but we were excited to venture into uncharted territory together. Sounds kind of like they have sort of a very strange romantic relationship, Andy and Dennis. I don't want to, I know Andy's wife, and I don't want her to, make her nervous or anything, so I probably shouldn't say that. This past year has been truly exceptional as I collaborated with Dennis to develop Cordrath and interacted with all of you on the platforms like YouTube and other social media. You, our dedicated audience, have played an instrumental role in bringing the project to life, and we simply can't contain our excitement for you to experience Cordrath, The Reckoning. It would be so kind, if you would be so kind, when you receive your Cordrath, please post on social media telling the world all the best, your pals. So Andy and Dennis are indeed your pals, Andy Smith, Dennis Turner. Now, Andy went the extra mile here and wrote, love Andy and Dennis, and look at Dennis, put a little heart in there, and then hugs and kisses. So this makes me really uncomfortable. I thought it was nice that Andy and Dennis would put a letter in here, and then they say you're your pal, right? They're your pals, so you feel good about that. Hey, we're friends. But then they push it here to a love relationship that makes me really uncomfortable. I don't know what their intentions are, so I'm just gonna have to be careful when I see those guys in person, because I don't know. I'm just kind of a little on edge about this. But anyway, I have not read these books. yet. But you guys, if you haven't backed this, I know the campaign's over, but I know you can still get copies. You should check this out. I'm hoping to read these sooner than later because I'm a big barbarian fantasy fan. So this is kind of right up my alley, but haven't got to it yet. But so I can't give you a review. But now let's look at some older comics, if you don't mind too terribly. Now, I got to show you something first. Now, my son is a comic collector as well. Now, check this out. This is Strange Tales, number 123, 9.2, okay? This is 1964, the year I was born. That's how old this is. Now, this has the origin and first appearance of the Beetle, and it has the first Thor crossover right here with Doctor Strange. So Thor and Loki show up in this Doctor Strange story, and it's the first crossover from Journey into Mystery when they were appearing, you know. And it's very early because I think Thor debuted what? He was in 1963, if I'm not mistaken. So this is only a year into Thor. So why is this book important? Because this is my son's book, but he's been using this to leverage me to do a commission for him. He says, Dad, if you do this commission for me, I will give you this book. So it's taken me over a year, but I'm almost done with it. I'm going to share it with you guys a little bit later in the show when we look into the flat files. So you can see what, but this is, you know, money doesn't really work that well for me. If you want a commission out of me, you trade me old comics and suddenly I'm interested. Unless I want money to buy an old comic, then I also get interested. But anyway, so that's a pretty awesome book that I wanted for a while. And he's been holding it over my head saying, yeah, you can have this, Dad, if you do the commission. Well, the commission is not quite done. I told him, and I never promised to my kids anything when they were growing up because I never wanted to say to them, yes, I guarantee we'll do this, and then have something come up and not be able to do it, and then I become a liar, right? So I promised him, I said, it'll be done by the end of the year, and it's not done. So this is like the first time I made a promise to my 30-year-old son in his lifetime that I did not fulfill right on schedule. But I'm almost done. Anyway, so we'll get to that later. But let's take a look at, we looked at Tales of Suspense last time. Let's take a look at Tales to Astonish. Now take a look at this. This is a Kirby monster book, Tales to Astonish number 16, fine plus condition, very nice book. I warned you not to awaken Thor with 2 R's. See that? Thor, this is Thor. What's significant about this? Well, this is the first time they used the name Thor, but Thor, of course, later became Thor, the God of Thunder. But in the very first appearance, Journey into Mystery 83, these guys who are called Thor here became the Stone Men of Saturn and became Thor's villain in Journey into Mystery 83. So this is a significant issue, and it's in nice condition because all my books are in nice condition. That's just how I roll. Okay, now, Tales to Astonish 19. Again, another Kirby monster. Why is there a piece of tape stuck on this? We don't approve of that. Okay, this is Rambu. His very name made mankind tremble. There he is, Rambu. Now, for those of you who are Lopresti completists, you will know, or maybe you'll remember, that I actually, Rambu appeared in my run in Ms. Marvel when she was on Monster Island. Another fine condition book, maybe a fine plus, a little scuffage here on the spine, but otherwise it's a pretty clean looking book, especially for, it was 1961 probably. So there's old Rambu. Now, one of my other favorites, and I don't buy all the Kirby monster books, I just buy the ones I like the covers. Moomba is here. How can you not love Moomba? This is what Stan and Jack were doing prior to the FF. This is probably a VG plus. Probably don't go much below this. The monster books are hard to find in higher grade. So if they're decent grade, I will grab them even if it's a VG plus, which this is. So this is a Tales to Astonish 23. Moomba is here, ladies and gentlemen. Moomba. But that's not all. Now we have Tales to Astonish 31. This is the Mummy's Secret. And the thing about these Kirby monster books is they were all giants. So it's like, this ain't a normal sized mummy. This is a giant sized mummy. And the reason is, I think it was a giant alien that helped him build the pyramids, and he died or something, and they mummified him, and then now he's breaking out. Inside these pulse-pounding pages, you will learn, if you dare, the mummy's secret. I don't know, man. If I was a kid in 1961, no jokes, I wasn't even born then. But if I were, I would have read these. This would have appealed to my kiddish nature and my adult natures too. Now, how about this? There's a Monster at My Window classic. I saw the original art to this. Actually, I think it was a splash page, because the splash page in this book is the exact same thing as the cover. Although I think it's redrawn, which I thought was really bizarre. But anyway, I saw the original at the Marvel exhibit that was going around the country. I think I shared it on this show months ago when I went. And they had the original for this, which is really cool. Heaven help me, it's true. There is a monster at my window. You can't get enough goofiness like this. So whenever I see those, I'm on it. Must buy. Okay, let's get into a little superhero stuff. This is I think this is Spider-Man's third or fourth crossover appearance. Because this is I believe this is 63. Might be 64. Very nice condition. There's like a dent in it someplace. You can't even see it. Like someone sat something on there that was kind of, it's in there someplace. Right here, I think. But it's a really nice book, probably an 8.0. But it's an early Spider-Man crossover. Like I said, I think it was his fourth crossover with Giant Man. And this is Tales to Astonish 57. Then, of course, this is a classic. Incredible Hulk battles Giant Man. And this is when the Hulk they did 59, and then with 60, they had split stories. It was a Hulk story and a Giant Man story in there. I picked this up at a sale at a comic shop in Portland called Excalibur. And I picked this up on a 50% off sale. I really think this is a 9.0. They didn't have it graded that high, but it's a really nice shape. It's probably, if I sent this into graded, it'd probably come back like a 7.5 or something with my luck. But I'm going to pretend it's a 9.0 because it makes me feel better. Then, of course, Tales to Astonish number 70, which is the first when Submariner replaced Giant Man. And this is the first Submariner issue. Got this on eBay as a 9.0 20 years ago, probably. And then this I bought from Superworld Comics at least 15 years ago. And this is the Silver Surfer story that appears in the Hulk portion. Great cover there, this Marie Severin cover. It's a 9.0. Pretty valuable book, probably in that $500-600 range. I've got others, but I'm just trying to give you the highlights, I've got a couple of graded books. Now, this one I got no particular reason other than it was a good price on the Comic Link auction several years ago. 9.2, Tales of Astonish 69. See old green screen trapped in the lair of the leader. I mean, come on. I like this cover, and don't ask me why. I can't explain why I like it because it's not particularly a good cover, but I like it. And so I thought, and it was a good price, so I grabbed it, and there it is. Now this is sort of like if there's such thing as a minor key, this is a minor key, because there's the first appearance of the new Giant Man in this costume, which lasted like 2 issues, and they got rid of it because it was stupid. But again, I found this someplace. I don't even remember where. But it was like a really good price, so I grabbed it. And that's Tales to Astonish 65. And it's significant because there's a new Giant Man costume. But like I said, the costume lasted for 2 issues, so it's not a significant thing. Anyway, there you go. I think we'll be venturing into Thor next week as we continue to go through my collection and see what's what. And I've returned to you in my full glory. Wizard Sleeve says, these look way too good to be original. They are facsimiles. No, they're not. Those are the books, man. Paul says, the Silver Surfer cover is great. Marie never got enough credit for her work on the Hulk or on anything. I love Marie Severin. She did a lot of work, and she was a great colorist. For those of you who don't know, she colored most of the EC books back in the 50s. And then we went over to Marvel, and the Silver Age started up in the superhero stuff and did a ton of stuff over there as a colorist, as a pencil artist. She did a lot of stuff. She was one of the rare women that worked in comics back in the early days, but she was good at it. She was really good at it. Let's see here. Blue Boy Comics talking about Gene Colan and Tom Palmer, some of the best, absolutely. Oh, look at these guys. You guys know this stuff. Marie Severin, Frank Giacoa. Fish britches himself. That's right. Gene Colan did the Submariner. I've also got the if you guys remember when we did Tales of Suspense, it was 79, and it's the first appearance of the Cosmic Cube, and it's a Iron Man versus Submariner story. It starts in Tales of Suspense, but then ends in Tales to Astonish number 80, 81, 82, somewhere in that neighborhood. I've got that one too. I just didn't show it, but it's the second part of that Cosmic Cube story. I know this Blue Boy says, I recently completed the entire classic Marvels, Tomb of Dracula. Finally, my last book to complete was 10, first issue appearance of Blade. I can die happy finally. I'll tell you, man, those essentials are great because they're all black and white. So Paul Taylor's not here, but if he was here, he'd be crying right now. They're all black and white, but they're cheap. Well, unless some of them, they only did single printings on. So those are like now collector prices as well. But for the most part, you can find beat up copies of those things, and you can read all these old issues without having to buy the actual comic. And that's what I do, because all the stuff I buy is collector condition, and I don't want to be flipping through them. And so I read the essentials. Kevin Thomas says, the offices of Thor, Moomba, and Rambu. When humanity injures you, we listen. That's good. I like that. John Smith, all the way from somewhere near San Diego. Happy New Year to the Little Presty family. Thank you, John. Appreciate it. Happy New Year to you and yours as well. I've known John Smith longer than I've known my wife. And when I say I've known him, I don't mean that in the biblical sense. I mean just on a social level. Bill Toddleson, imagine the size of that mummy. It was a giant alien. So, Creative Faces, did you have a good Christmas? We did. We had a great Christmas. Obviously, my daughter was home from college. My son and his wife, they're expecting a baby here in a week. They were here. They spent the whole day here like old people do. We forced them to play board games, which was fun. Speaking of board games, I told you guys that with a friend of mine I use as my creative springboard sometimes when I get stuck. He and I wrote this board game for Wraith of God, and we're pretty much done with it. I just would have to prototype the pieces and the board and everything. We haven't played it yet, so we got to play it, make sure that it works the way we think it's going to work. But I actually do have designs on doing a Wraith of God board game, and it'll be like Milton Bradley style from the 70s, where you have those long cardboard boxes and the fold out board. And I'd like to do plastic game pieces, not cut out ones. Well, I have to price it all out, but keep that in the back of your mind, because all I have to do is run a campaign for it. And I should do that, shouldn't I? Would you guys buy a board game? Or is that just like old guy stuff? Tom Tuttle, hail Aaron, Happy New Year to you and your family. Thank you, Tom. Best to you as well. Tomb of Dracula stuff going on there. Aldion says he likes board games. Wizard Sleeves, laugh out loud. I plan on playing Monopoly with my granddaughter tomorrow. She's like Rambo. Minka says, Happy New Year to you and your family, Aaron. Wishing you all much happiness, joy, and good health in 2024. Thank you so much. Same to you, you guys. And really, to all of you, I hope we all experience a great 2024. It's hope springs eternal every New Year's Eve, right? Let's see. Dan Wardy says he's in for a board game. Toshira says he'd buy it. Angela Curry. Aldion says he's saying, Angela, wake up. My younger son has quite a board game collection. We still have all of our board games from when I was a kid. That used to be the thing. Like when I was growing up in the 70s, at Christmas, there wasn't a lot of toys. It was not good action figures or anything like that, but it was board games. And we've got a ton of them. Now, some of them didn't last the 40, 50 years. I still have my original Green Ghost from 1969. I still have it. We still play it occasionally. And we have a ton of board games, and we still play them. It's just like total old school, but it's fun. Yahtzee. I just beat my daughter in Scrabble last night, and she's so ticked off at me because she beat me by 1 point, and she always kills me at Scrabble, but I beat her last night by 1 point. And then I looked at the rules, and if you go out first, which I did, I actually went out, and she was stuck with 2 tiles. You get the points that the other person is left with if you go out. So I got 2 points from her, which made me the winner by 1 point. And there was board flipping, tables being tossed. It was crazy. Eric Wart prefers, we play rummy all the time around here. When my daughter's home at dinner time, it's rummy while we're eating. And let's see here. Some sort of fighting in it. Well, there's dice rolling. Of course, there's conflict with monsters. I mean, but you sort of dice rolling kind of thing. And there's cards too, like game cards for different situations. It's very classic, but I actually feel like what we came up with was really pretty good. Kevin Thomas says, I would buy a classic board game, but it need that spooky 70s art vibe. Okay, what if you think about this? For the box cover art, I would hire somebody like maybe Just Go or somebody like that to do it, like a painted cover, as a painted box cover art. Wouldn't that be cool? So just like, they did back in the 70s when you had those, unless I painted it myself, which I probably wouldn't. I'd probably hire someone to do it. Hey, Dan, the pizza man, Genovese's here. Happy New Year's, Aaron. Thank you. Happy New Year's to you, Dan. There you go. The artist formerly known as Hey Mike. The best thing about board games is the family time and conversation. It's fun. Get your head out of the monitor and onto the board and getting to some real family conflict. There's nothing like it. Let's see here. Okay. As we like to say in TV land.
Moving right along.
Yeah. Okay. So I think it's time for my top 5. Let's find out what I've been thinking. Everybody has New Year's resolutions, and I, of course, am no different. But I wanted to make ones that I actually am going to keep. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. So I put a great deal of thought into this. And so without further ado, let's take a look at my top 5 New Year's resolutions for 2024. Number 5. Now, this is one that I think I feel pretty good about, that I can live up to this. So my first resolution is buy more old comics. So that's number 5 on my list of New Year's resolutions. Buy more old comics. Now, for those of you that are comic collectors, what happened in COVID was, because government was handing out money, that would be our taxpayer money, Government was handing out money, right, for forcing everybody to shut down, which was, I would like to go on record saying the stupidest thing the world has ever done, at least in modern history, was shut the economy down. But they did it. And so people couldn't go anywhere. They couldn't do anything. And people that were tech people that could work on computer or whatever were still doing their jobs, making money, but they had nowhere to go to spend it. So it all flooded into the comic book market, and not just in the comic book market, other places, but in the collectibles market and comics. And the prices went through the roof on some of these books. And of course, they've dropped since. But I was about ready to pull the trigger on this. I'm not a Fantastic Four collector as such, but I do like Silver Surfer appearances. And so I will go and get Silver Surfer appearances when I can. This just is a cool Kirby Silver Surfer cover. And there's nothing special about this other than the cool cover. It was a very affordable book, you know, in that $200, $250 range. Of course, I'm talking about for a 9.2. And then it just jumped up and was up, suddenly was worth, you know, selling for $1,500. And I was like, there's no freaking way I'm paying that for this book. So it's coming down. I'm waiting for it to come down, but it's got a long way to go before I will drop any coin on it. But this is on my wish list, but only when it gets affordable again. If it ever does, maybe it won't. I don't know. But so number 5 on my list, buy more old comics. It seems like a responsible, clear thinking thing to do. Number 4. Those of you who, again, are regulars on this show know that I have a serious problem with chocolate. So I don't know that I'm going to make a resolution that I'm going to eat less chocolate, but I am going to make a resolution to eat less sugar because, I mean, let's face it, it causes inflammation. Sugar is just processed sugar is not good for you. So I'm thinking if I can just keep my sugar intake to chocolate only, and then kind of maybe pace myself on the chocolate consumption, I might be okay. This holiday has been bad, man. I've been eating pie. I've been eating chocolate. I've been eating candy. I'm like to a point right now where I'm like, someone says, you want a piece of candy? I'm like, no, I really don't. I just overloaded on it. And I need to get back to being a little bit, just a little bit more healthy. So we're going to get away from the processed sugar, corn syrup, all that kind of crap. I really am going to, but I can't say that my chocolate consumption is going to necessarily drop a whole lot. But I used a picture of chocolate only to say that I'm going to stay away from processed sugar. I'm going to really, really, really try. Talk to me in 3 weeks and see how it's going. Number 3. Now, this one I know I'm also going to do because I have to. I've been saying this for 30 years. This year I'm going to paint more. I'm going to paint more. I'm going to get back to painting more. And thankfully, we talked about Kelsey Shannon earlier in Graybeard's studio, which of course you can watch every Wednesday at 1 o'clock Pacific time, right here on this channel, by the way. Kelsey always is painting on there on the show, and he's kind of forcing David and I to sort of get into it to keep up with him. So he's really forced me. Granted, all I've ever done is watercolor, but he's forced me into doing at least more watercolor painting on the show. I used to oil paint. I haven't done it in ages, but as you know, the Kit Carter campaign has a poster, a movie poster on it that will be painted. So I am forcing myself, obviously, to get back into painting, and I have to paint that poster. So this is the perfect year to get back into making a concerted effort to paint more. And of course, you know, no one did it quite as well as Rockwell, but we'll give it a shot. So that's on my New Year's resolution: paint more. And certainly with oil paints, or even what I need to do is develop a painting style, right? And just then work on that and perfect that style. And then just be comfortable saying, okay, this is the path I've chosen. Will it be oil paints? Will it be gouache and colored pencil combination? Something. something like that I can say, okay, this is my go-to when I'm creating art. But I will say this, if I have any designs on being retiring from comics and, being a painter into my old age, I'm going to have to figure out a style that would work in the fine arts market. And fine arts, I don't mean crap. I mean like Western art or something like that. So that's number 3 on my list. Paint more. Get back into painting. Marcus says paint with chocolate. That may be the right thing. Hulk Smash says just do it. Actually, he just says do it. He's not even saying just do it. Just do it. Angela says she's bringing you guys chocolate from Ohio. Get ready. Is Ohio I know Pennsylvania is where Hershey's at. Is there something special about Ohio chocolate? Well, I'm 100% ready to find out, Angela. So thank you for that. Leg kick, send Aaron chocolate with Atari Force Comics. No, actually what you want to do is just send chocolate and then stuff the Atari Force comics into a cannon and do this to leg kick. There it is. There's no Atari Force on this show. It's completely unacceptable at any time. Okay. So where are we at? Oh, we're on number 2. How about that? Here's number 2 resolution. Now, this is another one that I know I can keep. I feel very confident. I'm very comfortable in showing this to you guys and saying this on air for all eternity that I think I can do this one. And once again, it is, of course, buy more old comics. So 2 of my top 5 resolutions are to buy old comics. Now, this is also on my hit list. And why? Why, Aaron? Why would you want this book? Well, it's the Human Torch and the Thing. For buddies, these guys fought a lot. I guess they were like siblings, right? But what's so significant about this? This is January 1964. I was born in January 1964. So this is kind of like my birthday comic. And I did find a copy, but it was one of those things. I was looking for a copy and it sort of went up because of the COVID money problem rush in that with 2020. So it's now sort of readjusting like everything is. So it's getting back to a point where it's kind of affordable again. And so there's nothing spectacular about this, except it's super old and finding a 9.2 ain't easy, but they're out there. And so this was, I went and looked. There's sites you can look on to see what comics came out, and what month and what year. And this was like the best cover that came out in 1964 that was accessible. There's some old Spideys too, but I used to have all of those, but I sold my Spider-Man collection. It's a sad, tragic tale. But anyway, so out of the stuff that, I would actually could afford, this book is number 1 on the list. So there you go. So buy more comics is my 5th and my 2nd resolution. Now my number 1 resolution for the new year. This is one of those things where you kind of look at yourself in the mirror and you go, dude, you're getting older, man. You gotta get on top of things. You can either just like eat sugar to oblivion and die, or you can hit the wrong button, which I prefer to do. Or you can get in shape. So here we go. Isn't this on everybody's list? This year, I'm getting in shape. Now, it's this dumb shoulder. Those of you who've been with me a long time know I got shoulder surgery like 3 or 4 years ago. And then it was just feeling great. It takes like a year to recover from that. And then I tweaked it again, moving some shelves when we remodeled in here. And so then I was off for another 6 months. And I started doing push-ups again and started working out. And then I tweaked it again. And so then I had laid off. And so I'm getting back into it this year, starting simple with the push-ups, get rid of the sugar, start doing the push-ups again, become a man again. That's the goal. So we shall see if I take shape. So anyway, those are my top 5 New Year's resolutions for this year. Sean, for $5, that looks like Australian $5. Thank you so much. He says, Happy New Year, sir. Wraith of God 1 is in my top 3 books of CG. Looking forward to 2. And Kit Carter, keep up the good work. Any other books this year? Well, the plan with Kit Carter, obviously, is the reason I've got Matt Ryan inking it is so I can get done faster. And also, I wanted that sort of more of a slick inking look that you guys have been used to seeing over the past, 15 years from CrossGen when I hooked up with Matt to the end of my career at DC, that sort of style, that slick sort of comic book style that you guys are accustomed to. I wanted it to look that way. And I wanted the book done sooner so I could get into Wraith of God 3, Fear Hollow, which is the next Wraith of God book, which will be launching in June or July of 2024. So that's kind of the publishing schedule. Once that comes out, will I go right into Wraith of God 4? Probably, but I'm still toying with the Savage Tales type black and white magazine. So we shall see which catches my fancy. But there you go. Thank you for the $5. And that's what's on the publishing schedule for the upcoming year. Pasquale says, I kind of went the eat more sugar route. Yeah, that's what I've been doing lately, but I've got to get off of it. God, Marcus Killigrews trying to encourage me to be a man. John, the great John Beatty is in the chat. It says, how are your tea levels? I'm feeling pretty good about my tea levels. That's all I'm saying. No blue pills for this guy. That's all I'm saying. John, of course, John Beatty, one of the great inkers of all time. And we're quite privileged to have him in the chat. Every once in a while, Walter Simonson shows up. Occasionally, John Beatty will show up. Dan Lawless, every once in a while will drop in. So this is really kind of a magnet for top industry talent, I think. He's being serious now. You don't know your numbers, though? No, I haven't looked into it. But maybe the fact that I'm sleeping till 11 every day might be an indication. I heard like taking testosterone, though, kind of like makes you do wild stuff. So I don't know. Wizard Sleeve says, I can't wait for you to jump on your own real Aaron stuff soon, Kit Carter or Wraith. Is that Latin? I'm not really sure I understand what you're saying. Can't wait for you to jump on your own. Wizard, I have been on my own for like 3 years doing my own books. Real Aaron stuff soon. So are you saying I'm doing fake Aaron stuff? I'm just so confused. And you got all that? You got all that time? Even it's not even a super chat. I spent that much time on that, and I still don't know what you're talking about. Johnny Rando says, get in shape first. You don't want to be forced to humiliate yourself by having to ask Graham to pose for your Savage Tales cover. So what happened to Aaron Con? That's what I did during the pandemic. It was like I did Aaron Cons, but now I do all these other shows. So who has time to do an Aaron Con? Okay, here we go. Here's John sharing some information with us. I just had labs done. Mine is 400 normal range. So for 62 and a half years old, I'm good. Okay. So is this a contest? See, now I got to see. I guess now I'm going to get my levels done, John, and we're going to see who has better testosterone range. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'll check into it. Now he's got me thinking about my testosterone levels. Well, as I contemplate my testosterone levels, let's take a look at some precious moments from yesteryear, because they're always fun to kind of look back at simpler times, happier times.
Hi-ho, couch potatoes. I'm interrupting the toilet bowl to bring you my very special New Year's resolution. Starting tonight at midnight, I, your loving Uncle Joker, do solemnly vow not to kill anyone for a whole year. Which means I'm going to have to work extra fast to bump off a few more of you today.
God, that was a good show. Little animated Batman. Oh, boy. Dan Lawless says, Aaron, have you seen the Be a Man videos? Oh, my gosh. There you go. Aldion says, once Aaron jumps out on his own, you can expect Wraith of God 1 and 2 to be printed. Oh, my goodness. Can't wait to see Aaron's new look. A Boris body with the same old head. I know that just sucks, doesn't it? I can't do anything about this. He says, no, your own path of series. You are the new Swamp Thing. Oh, well, here's the thing. I have like this whole line of books. Problem is I can't do them all efficiently. So I'd have to actually hire people to do some of them. The problem is you have to make like Ethan Van Sciver money to actually hire people to do books. And I haven't hit that level yet, but hope springs eternal. So I'll do what I can. I got David Williams will be doing a backup story in Wraith of God 3 that'll feature another new character that all sort of ties into stuff that's going on. So I'm going to try and do backup stories. There won't be any in Kit Carter. That's just going to be a standalone graphic novel. But, you know, Wraith of God books, things like that, they will have at least a one backup story in them that will feature some of the other IPs I have. So you guys, at least they get entered into the universe. And then maybe eventually we will springboard and do a thing here and a thing there and see how it all comes together. And then when I win the lottery, I'll hire people to actually do, you know, we'll release 5 or 6 books and just go for it. Leg Kick says, well, get Shelley on to get that EVS money. No, I'll tell her you said that, Leg Kick, that apparently she's the one that's the big draw. It ain't me. Okay, so we've looked at a few things, but I do want to share some art with you because I did tease it earlier. So let's take a look at what's in my flat file, shall we? All right. Focus. Focus. Thank you. Okay. So I'll show you. Let me actually show you the, probably a lot of you guys saw this on social media postings, but this is page 9 of Kit Carter. And this is the first 8 pages of the Kit Carter graphic novel are her fighting Schmagma, the Lava Man, and which sort of wraps up the kind of the teaser story from Wraith of God 3, the Kit Carter backup in there, sort of leads into the graphic novel. So we wrap that up, and then we go to Planet Doom. We set up the actual story for the graphic novel, and this is our first introduction to Planet Doom. And we've got this alien dude running through the weird twisted tree jungle of Planet Doom. You see there? He has a bag. I won't tell you what the bag is. I'll have to wait to find out. He's a little nervous. Thinks he's home free. There's the big, that's Lord Menace's, you know, castle, stronghold, whatever. He's home free. But is he really? No, almost made it. But then he gets eaten by this, you know, giant lizard dude. Because I'm not doing a comic book without monsters in it. And so anyway, this kind of sets up Planet Doom. It's not a safe place to be hanging out. And we know Kit Carter and Merv the Astro Chimp are headed there for the big adventure. So anyway, this is a little teaser there. I'm not going to do, I'll do a page here and there to kind of preview the book as we move along, but I'll try not to give away anything that's like any massive spoilers or anything like that. Now you can see the pencils here are pretty stinking tight. And you can see, and this is a good example right in here. Well, you can see the blue back here, right? So I blue line all this stuff. I do my layouts in blue line. And then you can see the blue in here a lot too. See the blue right there. There's blue up in here. And then I basically go over that blue line with a pencil and clean up the drawing. Again, you can see all the blue in here. And so I never erase the blue because you can scan these without the blue showing up if you want to. And so then these are tight because Matt Ryan's inking them. So I don't leave, you know, if I had Kevin Nolan inking me, you know, I could be loose because he's going to do whatever he's going to do anyway, or Rudy Nebrez or somebody like that. But Matt's going to ink what I give him. So I want to make sure that he knows what I want. And so I ink, you know, I pencil this pretty tight. And I don't have to fill in the blacks. I knew I was going to show this and I was going to show it on social media. So I wanted to kind of fill in the blacks so you guys, but you don't have to do that. You can just put X's in where the black areas are. And that's the indication that for the inker to fill that in. But yeah, so all the pages for this book are going to be this tight. And then they go to Matt. He'll ink them, scan them, clean them up, which I don't have to do. I hate that. That's the worst part of inking. Is cleaning up your scans. And then they'll go over to Kelsey. He'll color them, come back to me, go to the letterer, and go to the designer, and go to the printer. That's kind of the process. So I'm assuming I'll be done with this in April. Look at all those veins and scales. And then we hope to have this thing at the printers by May. The problem is the printer I'm using was Jostens, and they're the best hardcover printers in the country, and they have the best prices, but they do all the yearbooks for the entire United States. And so you can't even get anything in usually until June. So basically, if I get this book done by the end of April or 1st of May, it's going to sit there probably for 6 to 8 weeks before it gets printed, which is kind of the bummer. But they have great hardcover binding. And to me, it's worth it. So this book probably won't be shipping out until June or early July because of that, even though it'll be done way before that. But we'll be rolling on Blood Hunters 3 by then. And hopefully, like I said, hopefully it'll only end up being like a 6-week turnaround instead of like, 2 or 3 month turnaround, which is probably excessive. It'd probably be more like 6 weeks, but still. Anyway, so that you can get look at some of the artwork there. That's what the Kit Carter Planet Doom pages look like. You'll find the link in the description of this video to the campaign if you want to go in there and check it out and back it. That would be awesome. Okay, so what is my son trading me? Again, refresher, this comic book, first appearance of the Blue Beetle, first Thor and Loki crossover. What's he trading me this for? He's trading me for a recreation of Spider-Man 14, the first appearance of the Green Goblin. There's so much lettering on this. What a pain in the butt. So as you can see, I've already done the lettering for Amazing Spider-Man. Now, those of you who aren't familiar with the cover, this isn't a very good printout, but you kind of get the idea, right? So what do you do when you're doing a recreation? Do you do exactly the same? Do you try to improve it? I'm a big Ditko fan, but at the same time, his cover work was not that great. And so what I've done here is I basically light boxed the lettering. Okay. So that's pretty much the same. I cleaned up the webbing because you can see on the original, the webbing here is an absolute mess. So I kind of spaced it out a little bit more so it looked a little nicer. Obviously, you're going to have the comics code in here, the issue number, the little Marvel box. We're doing all that stuff. This, I basically traced this blurb and traced this blurb on there, light boxed it on there. This frame, this arrow down here. All these graphics are exactly the same. But then I went in and redrew, trying basically using the same layout. But as you can see, I changed it. You know, this whole Green Goblin thing, his first appearance, he was on a broomstick. It later changed to that bat flyer that he's currently using. But if you look at this, he's not even sitting on it. He's sort of like air straddling it. So I thought, well, if he's going to sit on it, he needs to actually be sitting on the broomstick. So I actually had him sitting on it. And I changed, you know, the positioning a little bit. You know, then of course I get to draw the Hulk in the corner. Right? And there's a Kirby Hulk here. But here's the pain in the butt. All this freaking lettering. Okay, this is not scan this, glue it on there. I have to do the hand lettering. And this is what's terrifying me. So what I will do is I will light table all this lettering. I'm not a great letterer, so I'm basically going to copy this lettering. And then I'll go in and do guidelines after I copy the lettering in, because it won't be even. And then I'll draw lines to straighten it up. And then I'll go in and ink that lettering. I'll do the same thing here, 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 and then down in this arrow as well. So it's a true pain in the butt. And that's why it's taken me so long, because I didn't want to do the lettering. So the drawing is pretty much done, you know, with just a few details to go before it needs to be inked. It's this lettering that is annoying me, but I'm going to get on it and tackle it. And so that is what my son is getting in this trade deal. How much would I charge someone in reality to do something like this? With all this extra lettering and stuff on these older books, probably $2,000. So he's getting a deal, because I think that book's worth about $1,200. But you know, it's easier to do stuff for your kids. So, and at least he has an appreciation for the classics. You got the Enforcers down here, little Enforcers. Art Adams did a ton of these, probably still does, recreations people had him do. And I always kind of look at what he did, where he sort of kept the layout the same, but he would change a few things like the pose or whatever to improve it, or just to make it different, or maybe just do it so it's more type of his look. Little play on words there. Now that's amazing. Of course, the Amazing Spider-Man. Thank you so much, Toshiro. Geek Avenger making Freudian-themed jokes, probably about the cylinder that the Green Goblin is sitting on. Yeah, see, he's all over that. Look at that. Art of Roy just showed up. Thanks for joining us, Art of Roy. Appreciate it. Wizard Sleeves offering nice encouragement. You're on the top 10 of all. Never quit, sir. Thank you. Thank you. The question is not, can I ape McFarlane, but would I? I have an appreciation for what Todd does, but I don't, it's nothing. I just don't draw like that. And it's not some that I feel good about drawing, but I do appreciate the fact that he does it that way. And that he kind of found a formula that made him just like a superstar. You know, you got to respect that. Wadley91 says, I started drawing late in life around 28. My hopes are that I'll be good enough to make my own comic. It's a slow process to learn to draw, though. It really, really is. There's that process of sort of learning to draw, and then there's that process of taking it to the next level where you're pretty good, but now you've got to get to that professional level that people accept. And that making that transition, that is a really hard step. It's like climbing up those final, it's like Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Getting to Wyoming was a challenge, but getting up that mountain, that last step, only 3 of them tried it. Only 2 of them made it, and only Richard Dreyfuss made it all the way down to the alien ship. So it is kind of like that. I always like looking at Close Encounters as sort of a allegory or a metaphor. What are they? Is it an allegory for the artist's struggle? Because it's really true. Oh, Art of Roy says he's been watching for a while, but I didn't know Art, so I'm just saying welcome. Thank you guys. Creative Faye, Wizard Sleeves, very nice. Appreciate that very much. There you go. Minka is, I'm similar to you. He's talking to Woodley91. I'm similar to you, but 9 years older. You'll be great. Just keep at it and don't quit. Diz, I did not start till late either. I mean, I started drawing when I was a kid, but I quit drawing when I graduated high school and went to college and went to film school. I didn't totally quit drawing. I drew inconsistently on and off, but never with any sort of real intent. And it wasn't until 1987, so basically like 6 years, where I really, pardon the expression, retarded my skills. And so that's why I sucked so bad when I got into comics. And it took me so long to get up to speed and to a level where I could, actually produce professional quality work. So yeah, I mean, it takes time, but you stay with it. John Millen points out, of course, Dreyfuss was the only one to make a 3D sculpture, indeed. So he was the one with the real talent, and he finally made it to the top by getting in the ship. Thanks for John. John, I'm guessing, John, that you're going to be like doing a late night stream. It just seems like that's something you would do on New Year's Eve. I don't know that for a fact, but keep your eyes open if Malin starts streaming tonight. All right, guys. It's come to the important part of the show that even New Year's doesn't change. I've had some people say, can we move off this? Can we move on to something else? But no, I cannot walk away from Bigfoot until I've found Bigfoot. So let's take a look at this week's findings. Some people wanted a little more diversity in my cryptids because they're tired of these ridiculous. There it is. Malin says that he's likely streaming tonight, you guys. That'll be a New Year's Eve special you will not want to miss. No. Dreyfuss also abandoned his wife and kids to hang with aliens. That's an excellent point. He really did. I don't think that was Spielberg getting out his angst over his parents' divorce. And if you watched the Fabelmans, it's a really interesting film. Really sort of, I thought, made his mom look like the villain in this whole thing. And I don't know, maybe that's every bit of it's true. And maybe she was the villain in the whole breakup of their marriage and things like that. But I thought it was a really interesting film and how he portrayed his family. But anyway, let's take a look at this. This isn't really a cryptid, but it is interesting. At least I thought it might be interesting, but it turned out to be maybe not as interesting as I hoped when I recorded it, but I still think it's worth looking at. This is, well, let me get it to where we need to be. Oh, here we go. This is a guy throwing a banana into a lava flow. The interesting thing about lava flows it's like the blob, isn't it? I mean, it's like that thing is alive. Now, I expected that banana to burst into flames or do something really weird, and it didn't. It just got sort of like consumed right there by the lava. As this lava is slowly oozing towards these people that threw the banana in there. And look at the design in these rocks. And what's this going to look like when it hardens? It's going to be really cool. I don't know if I have guts enough to step that close to a lava flow. I mean, like, what if part of the ground underneath you gives way and you fall into, you just do like a golem and fall right into this lava flow? I don't know. But you got to respect somebody to go up there and toss a banana into a lava flow. How hot does that have to be? Someone probably knows for rock to be like molten. That's pretty hot. So anyway, that's what happens when you throw a banana into a lava flow. All right, now you guys tell me, is this a river monster? This is like in Costa Rica, so it could be anything. I mean, I'm having a really hard time hitting the right buttons tonight. I haven't even had a drink. Okay, here we go. River monster in Costa Rica, or is it maybe just like a Komodo dragon or something swimming around? You can see the circle in red there. What the heck is that? That probably is like a Komodo dragon, right? Or something like that. Although Komodo dragons only live on that island, right? So this might be like some big old monitor lizard or something, maybe. It's really, that head looks weird, but it's not necessarily a great shot of its head, so it's hard to say. I love how they like always flip the image to make it seem like they've got more footage. That's the same image, just, yeah, there it is. So I don't know. That head looks weird, but it's got to be a lizard of some kind, right? Oh, no, wait a minute. Blue Boy said, no, I didn't even know this is the thing. A river otter. They exist in South America. Seriously, are they that big, though? I mean, look how big that thing is. That is, okay, look at how big that is. I guess everything's bigger in South America, right? But geez, that is a big river otter if that's what that is. There's no manatees in South America. John Malin says sloth, maybe a sloth that was swept out to sea. I don't know. They can't swim, can they? I don't know. Marcus Killigrew, giant salamander. Looks like, thanks, Jeff. Appreciate that. Look at Angela Curry. She's on the otters are ugly and terrifying. It's the head of this thing is what makes me think that you might be onto something with that otter. Look at that head right there. That doesn't look like a lizard head. It looks like a mammal head right there. Look at that. But look how tiny that head is compared to how long the body is. That is like that would be like a 6 foot long otter, wouldn't it? I don't know. It's something though. So when you're in Costa Rica, be careful that you just don't jump in for a swim. That's all I'm saying. All right. So this is allegedly. All right, here we go. Here we go. Giant South American river otter, average 6 feet long. Largest recorded is 11 feet long. Holy crap. Are you kidding me? Henry Jeremick, though, he's thinking sloth. Do they swim, though? Because it does look like it has a sloth head. I'm not going to argue that. Blue Boys, he's saying there's similar videos on YouTube of river otters. Okay. All right. Malin is giving us the facts. Sloths can swim. So you might be onto something there, John. I might agree with you. It's either a giant South American river otter or it's a sloth, because that head did kind of look slothy. Okay, so here's the thing now. This supposedly is a trail cam from up in a tree looking down. Now you tell me. Fake? Is this Planet of the Apes or is this Bigfoot or is this a dude in a costume? I love the face on this. It's so jacked up. It looks like it could be real, but the rest of it looking kind of costumey to me. But I'd give money for that. If that's a mask, I would give money for that mask. The fact that it's just walking by the camera and looking right into camera, I mean, maybe it would, but that kind of to me is like indication this probably is fake, but it's cool. Costume. Chimpanzees could look this way. AI at its best. Look at the zipper down the back. Ooh, did I miss that? Let's check out the zipper. Don't you love that? I mean, I'm thinking it's obviously, I don't think it's real, but I do like that. You might be onto something. What do we got right? Do you have some sort of zipper back there? Because it looks like the fur is sort of parted right there in the back. Like you could run a zipper right down there in two pieces, or maybe it's the back of the mask hood or something. But man, I'm digging that mask. That is jacked up. That is freaking me out. Like his eye is all like messed up over here. And it's definitely not a river otter, but I'm going to, Angela Curry's she's going straight X-Files here, saying it's just an inbred Southerner. Some guys definitely thinking manatee all the way. Let's see here. Angela Curry says, I'll send it to you, Aaron, the mask. I would do backflips if I got a mask like that. All right. So we're just warming up to this, but what do you guys think of which one is this? Okay. This is allegedly a Bigfoot video that was shot like 50 years ago or something, and has been secretly held in the this vault because they didn't want it to get out to terrify the people. So this is by our good friend Ranger Thompson. Apparently took this while doing his ranger work. Yeah, again, Bigfoot strolling through the forest on his way to Walmart is what this looks like. Look at those arms. It looks like a dude just going do walking through the forest in a costume. It looks like he's got those. Now here's the thing. If you remember on the Patterson-Gimlin film, that's the original Bigfoot film that started all of this madness. That there was some question about whether or not the Bigfoot had boobies, and if this was made shortly after that, you can see there's big. There's my dog going. Look at Bigfoot boobies. So could this be an attempt to copy the Patterson-Gimlin film to show consistency, or is the Patterson-Gimlin film real and all Bigfoots have boobies? I'm not buying this stroll through the park. I mean, who's to say how Bigfoot would walk? But I don't know. I'm feeling like if this is a dude in a costume, you got to give me a better performance than this, man. This whole dude strolling through the woods. Hey, what's up? How's it going, man? It's just, I don't know. I want him hopping around a little bit, feeling a little bit more ape-like, a little bit more animalistic. These, when you hire someone to be in a costume to make your Bigfoot video, dude, you gotta direct them, man. You gotta get a performance out of them so that people like me will go, wow, I really believe that. Because I'm just not buying the performance here. Now, maybe it's a sophisticated Bigfoot and, he's just very human-like, and that's just how they stroll, He knocks the brushes out of his way, just casually. Then, of course, where's the rest of the video or the film? I don't know. Yeah, Carbon Heart's like, It's a very chill walk. Now, come on. That's not Anna. Don't be mean to Anna like that. Ben Tolotson is not buying this. Eeyore's Lost Tales. I was busy, but what's this about Bigfoot boobies? That's a great way to get people's attention, isn't it? Okay, so now I'm going to get clipped saying Bigfoot boobies. He's doing the Shaggy walk. Exactly, from like Scooby-Doo. I'm hearing Saturday Night Fever. Oh. Well, I guess EVS just started up a stream, but it's a good thing because we're almost done, but not quite. No one's going to leave in the middle of Bigfoot videos. It's not going to happen. Okay, now tell me this is not part of the Muppet Show. Tell me this is not part of the Muppet Show. Dun, 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 dun. We got to get to the video. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. That is a dude with a hand puppet, and I would know. I'm like, dude, seriously? Talk about weak effort. Even when you're close up, it doesn't look like a good puppet. But I love how we don't see any arms or anything. We just see the head. There's a guy laying behind this log with a hand puppet on. Citizen Ronan, of course. That's clearly real. There you go, Matt Grendel. He's going to have 10 to 15 minutes of tired clips to start his stream. That's right. So we have plenty of time. Let's see. Blue Boy says that's the child John Malin kidnapped. He paper bagged and boarded them. See, the proof is out there. Howard the Duck after an all-nighter. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Angela Curry says that could be Pootu Bird. Check out Potu Bird. Potu. Okay, next week I'll check it out. Yeah, that's like a sock puppet or something. Okay, here we go. Now this one is high res, so you can see this pretty clearly, except you can't. And that's the real mystery here. Check this out. Okay, look at. My feeling on this is obviously computer generated, but I give them an A for effort. Now look what they do here. So Bigfoot comes walking up, or should I call him Bluefoot? He's very blue. And he gets, he's getting here pretty close. Look at how sharp the trees are around him. Now, what does he do? There he is back here. You can see his face a little bit right there. It kind of looks like a dude. There's his nose and his eyes and like a beard or something and a really bad hairdo. You see that? But what does he do? He does not, you notice how this is strategically placed wood. Look at this clearing right here. Does he ever step over here? No, he stays hidden behind these strategically placed wood so we can't see him clearly. He's faking us out. He's thinking, oh, he's going. No. And there's a glitch in this too. Like right, where is it? Right there. You see that glitch? And then he disappears. And then we start over. So I'm saying computer generated hoax, but a good effort here. You got to give the guy, if someone turned this into my class, my like Bigfoot animation class, I'd give them an A-, because I think they could have done some more moving of the shrubbery around here. But again, if it's AI generated, don't you have enough confidence in your Bigfoot look to get him out here in the open so we can have a really good look at him? Maybe not. Maybe not. But I do like, this is more like the $6 million man Bigfoot. You can see his little mustache right there. There's his nose. His eyes are up here. This is his hair. So he looks more like a human and less like an ape. There you go. There's your best shot of it right there. You can see the nose right there. Eyes are here. There's his mouth, little mustache and beard right here. And that's a big old 70s hairdo hanging there. Citizen Ronan says, looks like a filthy hippie to me. Wizard Sleeve says, Aaron, AI 100%. Matt Grendel, Newfoundland dog. I'm on board with that. That's a possibility. Blue-haired woke Bigfoot. The blue hair gave it away. Hulk Smash, if you come into this with no faith, then you fail. Yeah, I need strong evidence, though, to bolster my faith. Shrubbery, of course, he's talking about Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Art of Roy. Art of Roy is the ultimate cynic. He's worse than me. He says, not necessarily CGI, but compositing of elements. I agree. So you're saying this could be a guy in a costume and then composited on top of this. Citizen Ron says the color gives it away. Yeah, I think it's too blue. Iodine is on board with me. The strategically placed wood. Very nice. Waylon Todd. But if you live in the woods, you make no noise. Now, if no one's around to hear you, you don't make any noise, I think is what we're... Slacker 23, Aaron, whenever you're done with your stream, be streaming. Yeah, but I got a party to go to. Toshiro's like, Kelsey's lost in the swamp again. Incredible. All right, guys, that's it for our New Year's extravaganza. I don't know if there's any more of an extravaganza than what we normally do here, but it certainly gives you a taste, the flair for every week of Aaron Live. And every once in a while, we get a special guest appearance by Shelley Showtime. And I will tell everybody that you guys miss her greatly, as always. So anyway, thank you, guys. Thank you so much for the super chats. I don't think I missed any. I'm going to take a quick look here. Nope. Got them all. Thank you guys so much. Appreciate you guys that are backing Kit Carter. If you're not backing yet, think about it. Follow the link in the description of this video. Take a look at it. A lot of good stuff on that campaign. The book's going to be awesome. So I highly recommend it. I'm not just saying that because I'm doing it. And Graybeards will probably be, I'm going to give you advance warning. It's probably going to go at 2 o'clock instead of 1 o'clock because I have to take my daughter to the airport on Wednesday. So it's going to probably be closer to 2 than 1. So keep that in the back of your mind. I have no idea if there's Comic Kings tomorrow night. Tuesday, we definitely will be doing the professionals. I believe Andy's hosting. So a lot of programming coming your way in the new year. Stick with us. We love you guys. We appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you. So thanks for joining me. And we will see you next week right here on Aaron Live. Be safe tonight. Have fun, but be safe. Happy New Year, everybody.